Alright, what's happening YouTube? This is Charles here, and I just wanted to show you some comparisons between the Austrian 3-piece kit, or possibly just the larger Austrian rucksack with or without the harness, and the medium Alice pack. So let's take a look at these real quick. So let's do some dimensions really fastly. So if I measure the length between this seam on the back and the top of the pack, on the Alice pack it is basically 20 inches. So if I measure from the seam on the bottom of the Austrian, the bottom of the Austrian to the main opening, it's 18 inches. However, they do have a snow collar on here, so you can overstuff this thing. So if I measure it from the bottom of that to the top of that, it's 23 inches. So you can see when you overstuff this, you have a little bit more capacity. Let's take a look at depth. So if I'm measuring from the seams to the bottom of the bag, we're looking at 7 inches depth versus on the Alice pack is only 6 inches on the bottom. Let's go to the top of the throat here. And it's kind of difficult to decide. So it's 7 inches depth, let's say, at the throat. And at the main throat on this, it's going to be 7 inches as well. So there's a little bit more volume available on this. Now, when I purchased this, I bought it from Poshmark. I got it for $34, and I think it was free shipping, or maybe it was $7 shipping. I thought it was a great deal because I got both of these plus this little harness on here. See, I put it on a smaller bag, and there's some limitations to this harness that they give you. So they use very small diameter hooks on here to hook these onto the top and bottom of the rucksacks. So I've tried to use like a Swiss backpack strap, and it was too thick to fit inside of here. I thought, gee, I'll just use my leather straps from that. Doesn't work. They're so small. Now this harness does work very well for this very small, I would say like a fanny pack or butt sack, butt pack. But it is small, so if I measure this, about 12 inches length by 5 inches depth. So it's not that big. Now this thing can be worn as a butt pack, and some of them, if you're lucky, they come with the Alice packs, which go right in this area here. So you can attach this to a duty belt, and then you can use this. Now, I'm assuming, because I did not serve in the Austrian army, but I would think that these things attach to, your basic duty belt with the little holes in there, and you put these things through the holes and attach these on there, as well as using these shoulder harnesses on there. But I haven't tried that yet. I don't really want to, honestly. But get all these little extra attachment points on here that you may or may not use. See that? So if you're not using a duty belt, it's kind of a little bit extra stuff. Now this specific one, the seams are torn on this side, as you can see. I can easily repair this using a needle and thread. I haven't done that yet. I guess I will, but I really haven't used this little pack, and I don't want to use this harness with the medium or larger pack that comes with it. Just because, I mean, this is large enough, about the same size or slightly larger than the medium Alice, that I wouldn't want to bear all of that weight that I can stuff this thing with just this little harness. So let's take a look at some alternatives. So right here you can see here I've got an LC2 strap, an Alice Pack strap, and reusing these existing tabs on here, I was able to put the webbing through there and through the top, so you can see that you can use this just like the original Alice Pack without a frame, which I don't like carrying this without a frame. I mean, I sweat like a hog, so I like to have a frame. But if you want to wear it without a frame, you can. You can just put these things on there. Now, if you want to put this thing on a frame, it's pretty easy modification. You can either strap this directly onto the frame using the existing hardware and put these through the backpack and the frame on the bottom, and then on the top, very similar to what you see on the frame, and wear this, or you can use cordage, you know, like paracord, and put it through the little holes and just tie it on to the frame very easily, because the size of this thing is perfect just to do exactly what I said, using cordage to attach it onto the frame. So let's see, anything that works with an Alice will also work with this, because, you know, take a look here. I've got a tactical Tailor straps, and these will also fit in the same exact rucksack or on the frame as shown here. So the downside is there is no pad built in here, just like there is on the Alice Pack. So with Alice Pack, you've got this padding here for the frame, so it doesn't hurt you too much. If you don't overstuff it, it's not going to be that much of a problem anyway. Okay, let's take a look at the front. So a couple differences. You can see, obviously see the difference in the colors. So this is a darker brownish type of olive drab versus, I'm going to say this is probably like an olive drab 4 to olive drab 7 color. This is more of a brownish olive drab. Let's take a look at the pockets. So on this median, or the middle pocket, this thing is 9 inches depth, or length, length, versus 9 inches length on the middle. The depth on the Alice Packs is 4 inches versus on the middle one is only 2.5 inches depth. On the side pockets is also 2.5 inches depth. On the side pockets, this one is 10 inches depth versus the 9-inch on the side pockets. So I'd say it's about the same size, but the dimensions of this, you could put, you know, like a mess kit or something like that in the middle, and the sides, because it's not as, the depth isn't as much, you could put some water or other accessories and stuff inside of here. Now, the nylon in this, I believe, is a ballistic nylon, just like on the Alice Pack. And the gauge on it seems about the same. So this thing is pretty durable. However, I haven't tested this one out yet to compare it with the Alice Pack, which I used when I was with the Marines back in 1988 to 1994. So I know these things are fairly durable. This looks made the same, possibly better. So let's take a look on the sides. So obviously on the sides here, you've got all these attachment points. So you can put like a sob bag on here, just like I have. Let's look on the side. There's not really any attachment points for additional on the side. Let's take it on the depth. On the bottom of this pack is 6 inches depth. On the bottom of the Alice is 5.5 inches depth. Let's look at the throat of the main bag. You're still looking at 6.5 to maybe 7 inches maximum. The main throat on the Austrian and it's hard to gauge exactly where the side is, but it's still going to be 6 to 7 inches depth on this. The benefit with the Austrian one is if we just measure directly from the bottom to the main throat, then we're looking at 18 inches depth. But they do have a snow collar, so if you want to overpack this, you can. And this thing comes to 24 inches measurement to the snow collar. So you can have a little bit more capacity on this versus the medium Alice Pack, which measures at 20 inches to the throat. Now it doesn't mean you cannot overstuff this, because these straps are very long, but you don't have that protection of an extra snow collar on there. So, you know, like when I was in the Marines and we were humping somewhere, you know, I could overstuff this thing. It's just slightly more exposed versus the Austrian one. Now this one I believe was probably made in the late 70s or early 80s, before they came with the woodland version of this. This one, based on the straps, this says it was made in 1983. So just wanted to show you some differences here because you have so much extra space, you can put stuff on top of the rucksack versus these slightly shorter straps on here. Although, because you've got this loop here, you could just put another strap and put something on top of this. If you take a look on the way this thing is made, there's D-rings on each side here where you can put another strap, and you can put your sleeping carrier or something like that. And I don't remember if I already covered this or not, but if you want to attach this onto a frame, it's pretty easy to do. You can either use the existing little tabs here and just feed in that strap, very similar to here, or you because they've got such a small hole on here, the holes are so small that only paracord will go through this, or the original little harness. This thing would be very easy to use some paracord and just attach it onto the frame and attachment points. Now you have to remember that there is no padding on the back of this thing like you do on an Austrian Pack. So you may have some problems putting this on a frame, and if that hurts your back, you want to put some kind of pad between the frame and your back. But I don't know. I do like this. I do like this a lot. I haven't tried it yet. If I get any more testing on this, I will update you with it. But I think it's a good value. You can find just the larger bag or the smaller bag by itself, or sometimes you can still find the 3-piece kit, which just means you got the larger bag, smaller bag, and the harness. I would only recommend the smaller harness for the smaller pack, just because you can't really overstuff this and put too much stuff that's heavy where this isn't, I'm assuming, would be too heavy for it and uncomfortable. But if you see these things out there and you've been wondering about it, there are some options for you to use this with or without a frame like the Austrian Pack. And that's about all I have. If you guys have any questions or comments, I'll try to answer as soon as I can. You have a good one.